with the directing duo Alex and Steffen, and you are watching Eclectic Arts Media.
Yeah, I figured out, so, okay, I could produce this sound. This is so cool.
All right, look here. Hey, this is Alex Story from Cancer Slug. This is Cancer Slug. And you're watching Eclectic Arts Media. See, I said it right.
Going to somewhere like that and playing those places that all those bands that you listen to play.
Hello, Beer Bowling Cards!
Hello, my name is Richard Winslonaker. I play Hercule Poirot at Taproot and Murder on the Links, and you're watching Eclectic Arts Media.
And then I'm singing and I'm going, I'm not all by myself anymore.
Oh, whoa. Whoa.
I know.
But I find that I have the best fans.
Hello, my name is Kate Yeager, and I play Louise Seeger.
Hi, I'm Cayman Illica, and I play Patsy Cline.
And you're watching Eclectic Arts Media.
You're not everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine because I don't drink tea anyway. I'm a coffee drinker, so it's like whatever,
You know, when you have limited time, you're just like, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go into the woods, I'm gonna film myself.
Aloha, I'm Jake Shimobukuro, and you're watching Eclectic Arts Media.
I think I forgot your question, but I went on a different path, but it felt great.
And I need to keep as much hair as possible because, particularly in Hindley Street, no one's got hair. You'd fit right in, Mark. So.
Well, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. I'm Mark Sugiyama from Eclectic Arts Media, based here in Seattle, Washington. And thank you so much for joining me on this Monday over here, the 18th of August, 2025. And I'd like to thank Peter Savage for joining me last week. It was great getting to know him about all the mixing work that he does with Hindley Street Country Club. Peter was a great guest, and I definitely learned a few things based on what the sound techniques that he uses. And speaking of which, coming up this week, in addition to today's live stream, on Wednesday the 20th at 10:30 p.m. Pacific, so that's kind of a late one, so I understand if you can't join me live. If you're over in Australia, then maybe you can join me live because that's why we're doing the time difference like that. Jason McMahon is scheduled to join me, and Jason is the amazing saxophonist, woodwind extraordinaire for Hindley Street Country Club, as well as other musical acts that he plays with over there. So I'm looking forward to talking to Jason. I don't have a lot of, especially woodwinds or brass based musicians on the live streams now that I think about it. So we'll learn a lot. Side note for me, that's actually the instrument that I started with was saxophone. He doesn't know that yet, but that'll be fun talking with him. And then Thursday of this week at noon Pacific, Tiffany Time is scheduled to come back. And Tiffany is, she was actually in the video montage. She's the first guest of 2025 that will be returning for a second live stream interview. I understand that I was the first interview she ever did back, I think that was March when we did that. And she was a great guest. So I'm looking forward to talking with her. She's been doing a lot of hiking. So her YouTube channel features her doing hiking all around the world, basically. And then her her public fan site are like a 180, very, very, very spicy stuff, very different. So I'm looking forward to talking to her. And there could be another live stream scheduled this week. I have to talk actually to my guest today to see, because we were trying to do it this week to promote something that he has coming up, but we'll find out. And if you want to know specifically when I do have everything actually locked down, please follow me as Eclectic Arts Media, one word, on Instagram. That's where I post everything first. And then some of that information migrates over to other social media platforms. If this is your first time joining me on my YouTube channel, if you could do me a huge favor, please hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. And if you're over on the Twitch side of things, if you could follow me over there. And if you're really feeling generous and want to support what I do and enjoy the content that I'm putting out there, there's a PayPal me and a Venmo link in every live stream YouTube description. Some of my other videos don't have that. I need to fix that. But let's get to things. My guest today, first joining me in October of 2021, which even surprised me when I looked back to see when that was. She then stopped by twice in 2022 in November, and then joined a fun table session in 2022 in December. Many things have changed in her life since then. Recently, she released a brand new music single, Time Would Come. Please welcome back to the Eclectic Arts Media Virtual Studio in 2025, Miss Kelly Monrow. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for taking the time to join me and talk about everything that you've been up to. It's been a while.
It has been a while. We've been on a journey for the last 4 or 5 years. It's good.
Yeah, again, like I was mentioning in my intro, it's crazy to think that that first interview we did, I think you were like maybe in Nashville at the time. And it was 4 years ago.
That's crazy. It seems like yesterday. And can I also just say the level of, I was just thinking about this, how much more comfortable I am and in my body I am compared to 4 years ago. And it's just a great reminder that like every milestone counts and like, wow, just thinking. I remember being so nervous to do podcasts and now I'm just so happy to be speaking with people. It's great.
Well, that's a great point to bring up, because I remember when I started doing all this stuff in May of 2020, and you can look at those those interviews are on my YouTube channel. I was a nervous wreck, and I also kind of get reminders every now and then about, well, look how far you've come. Look at these other kind of milestones you've hit, the work you've put in, and sometimes it's easy to forget that. That you think, oh yeah, I'm just fine with this now. It's like, well, no, remember there you weren't.
It's so true. It's so true. And I think like finding your authentic voice is so cool when you finally get to that place where you're just like, this is just me. Here we are. Here we are.
Yeah, and what I remember of the interviews we did previously was that you were very, very present as a guest, whether you knew that or not. Sometimes I have guests, you can tell they're just kind of, they're doing it, they're happy to do it, but they're just not quite there when I'm talking with them. And you were nothing like that. You're very present with me, which I love. I love that type of guest.
Oh, good. Well, I'm happy. That's really unfortunate if someone is not super present during an interview.
Yeah, usually, it creates a situation, if it's a live stream, where I'm trying to get them comfortable and kind of get them focused. If it's in person, it's really awkward.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I feel like in-person interviews are awkward anyway, because there's just like this, I don't know, you can like feel the surroundings and you can hear all the, you know what I mean? Whereas on camera, you're kind of, there's an exchange of energy, like I talk and you talk and I talk and I'm in my world and I'm comfortable in my world and you're in your world. But when you're in the same room, it can be a little awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I think it would be even like probably more awkward for the guests, because I may be a fan of theirs. I've been doing research on them, and then they meet me. I'm a complete stranger to them the first time. And here we are in this little, if it's a musician, then we could be, in a green room or on a tour bus, or, some smelly part of a bar or whatever we're doing this in. With actors, I've done some where it's been like literally on the stage before they're going to perform that night, kind of a thing. And you can tell they're already thinking about the show. They're not thinking about me necessarily. And then they kind of catch themselves like, oh, we're ready to go. Okay, boom, I need to pay attention to this.
Yeah. Oh, I do understand that. Being in the zone before a show is crazy.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of times I talk to like the publicist and the communications director about, are you sure this is the best time to do it? I'm willing to work, if it needs to be after the show or just the day when they don't have a show, or whatever's kind of best. And like, oh, no, they have to be here by 6 o'clock, so we should do it right now. I'm like,
Do you know the best time to do a show for me?
when?
Right before bedtime, right now.
Yeah, well, that's actually a great segue. I mean, since I last saw you, many things have changed. You're living in another country. You're a mom. There's all kinds of things. So I can, without going into like the stereotypical things, but what has motherhood done for you, changed for you in your life?
Oh, God, what a question. And I hate saying this because I think about my girlfriends that don't have children and I'm sensitive to that. But my God, I didn't know what love was. I did, but I didn't know what love really was. And what I mainly mean by that is like self-love, because there's such a mirroring of when you're loving on your child, there's so much that you're receiving back just by giving them love. And the amount of love that you experience for them, but also for yourself, just to receive that love is like, I don't know. It's something I can't even put into words, but I would say I thought I really grasped what it meant to be selfless and to really love somebody, but not even close. It doesn't even touch it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's I met somebody in person that was on a tour, and she was, I want to say she was 8 months pregnant at that point.
No way.
Yeah, and she was DJing, doing her DJ set to open up the show, and
I love that.
yeah, and she had her, I want to say it's a son, maybe like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Oh, that's so cool. See, this is what I love. I love seeing women that like are just in the pocket on their like art. Like they're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do everything. And it's so cool because I really feel like there's so many women. I got this really touching message from a girlfriend of mine that I went to college with the other day. And she said, man, all I can tell you, you're a mom now, and that's really cool. But please don't quit. Like, please don't give up on your dreams because you're doing it for us. You're doing it for me. You're like carrying the energy forward of all the things that I didn't get to do. You're doing it for me. And I was just like, whoa. It was so cool. And I do think it's really amazing when there is an artistic, creative woman that stops and pauses to have a baby. But it's also so incredible to see people just keeping it moving because it's ultimately, like, if you think about it, it's the greatest creation you'll ever make. It's the greatest, well, creation you're ever going to drop, literally. But it's like, this is the highest pinnacle of creation. So it's cool just to hear women like getting back in the saddle and like going for it, so.
Yeah, I was highly impressed because I was sitting on a tour bus ready to talk to the headliner, and that's when this gal came on, and I could clearly see how pregnant she was at the time. And she's like, yeah, I could have stayed back home in LA and just did a couple local gigs, but this opportunity came, and I'm like, fuck it, why not go out on tour?
So what a badass.
Yeah, and she's right back to, I know she's got something, I think it's next week she's got a gig already. So
cool.
It is, and she
Yeah.
didn't compromise one bit in terms of how she's perceived, how she's looked. It's just kind of like, I'm now this, and here's the stages of my pregnancy, and now I've had my child, and I'm back to what I'm doing, and all these other kind of things. But obviously, her world has changed for her and her partner having a son. But yeah, she refuses to let that part of her go, which is kind of like what you're saying, what your college friend was saying.
I also feel like I'm really learning, especially with my lyrics, like people just want to hear real shit, It's like they just want to hear your life. They want to hear your pain, your suffering, your joy, your stories. And I feel like I've just gained more followers, like more fans that actually listen to my music since I've been pregnant because it's just such a big part of my story. But like, I don't know, I feel like people love vulnerability and they love like seeing raw shit, and not like glossy, poppy, whatever the fuck it is, but they want to get in it with you and connect with you. So it's super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something where that, for me, if I see like a pop concert or something, it's highly entertaining, like on a visual standpoint, and maybe what I'm hearing, what they're presenting, but it doesn't really get below the surface very often at all. And then if I go see like a singer-songwriter or someone who's being, like you said, very vulnerable with their situations and what they're going through in life's journey, then it's like, well, there's some part of that you're probably going to resonate with. If it's good or bad, everyone has shitty days and great days and everything in between. So I absolutely agree that I think you're going to have more longevity when you're kind of being raw with how you're feeling.
Yeah, and also like let's not forget about you can't write something you haven't lived, and you can't play a role you haven't lived. And I feel like there were a lot of opportunities before this that, whether it was writing a song or back in television and film as an actress, I used to go, God, I didn't get that part, I'm devastated, or God, I can't find the words for what I'm trying to say. And it's just because I hadn't lived that milestone of that moment yet. And I feel like you know, having this child has been such a blessing, but like moved me into a new category. It's like these creative words have just burst at the seams. Like I just feel like I could write so many songs now, and really not about how much I love my baby, but just like me becoming a completely different woman, and connecting all the dots of the woman I was before, but also just like I was saying the other day, stopping to like start a family and have a baby. It's kind of like a boomerang, and I keep using this, not a boomerang, a slingshot. I keep using this example because I feel like sometimes when we move forward in life and we're maybe doing something that we don't necessarily want to be doing, or we're taking a pause on something that we really love, it's like it creates a lot of pressure to draw you back to what you really want. And so I feel like by taking this pause and starting my family, it's actually catapulting me back into the arts way more than I even wanted it before, just because I didn't have accessibility to do it every day. And then your love and this like the savoring taste of it, it's kind of like constricted, and you're like reserving it. And now I'm just like, oh my God, I'm ready to go. I'm like bursting. So I think that's also pretty cool too. And I keep reminding people, like, if you've ever had a dream, I think it's so important to revisit it and like try again, or to reinvigorate that dream or that hope of that dream, or just even the whisper of it, the glimpse of it, because a lot of the time when you redirect the energy back into something you love, and maybe you didn't do it since you were 14 years old and you're like 50, there's something really special there, and all the energy of not doing it actually freaking blasts the goodness back into what you want to be doing. So anyway.
That's such an interesting point and perspective that I never thought of something like what you're saying, that you could be doing all these other things. And then as you, in your case, as you got pregnant and starting a family, that it was actually like winding stuff up so that once you were ready to go, it was going to slingshot you even harder back into the arts world, or anything that someone happens to be interested in. And you also bring up a really good point, and I've kind of mentioned this with other people, that you're never too old to either revisit something or to start something. It could have been, oh yeah, when I was in high school, I was always thinking about I wanted to write, short stories, or I wanted to do something. It's like, well, now maybe you're 55 like I am, and why don't you start?
Yeah.
There's no reason not to.
Totally. I always say like age is a vibration. It's like not even a number. It's just like I've met some of the dopest people, like an 89-year-old woman that is like the coolest woman I've ever met in my life, and she was just all vibes, And then you meet like a man that's 70 and he's more fit than a 30-year-old. It's just all mentality, and it's all hustle. It's like all drive. It's all reserve. It's all like passion. It's so cool to see. So yeah, I'm a firm believer. I'm 41, and I think a lot of people are like, wow, I didn't know you were in your 40s, but I'm like really proud of that now, because I feel like I look the best I've ever looked, because I'm really happy now from the inside out. But I'm like, God, 40 is like such a baby. Like I still have so much to do and so much time, and like God willing, if I get another 60 years on this earth, like that's more than half of what I've already done. Do you know what I mean? Like more than it's, so I'm not even halfway there yet. Like what? That's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of goes back to that whole like, glass half full, glass half empty type of
Yeah.
thing of like, you know what, you don't have to look at it like I'm at this certain particular age, so that means society tells me I'm supposed to be doing certain things. I shouldn't be doing these other things. It's like, no, if you can find the balance, there's no reason why you can't do all of it.
It's so true. It's so true. I also just like, I'm such a believer in like the spoken word, like the power of the spoken word. It's like when you put something out into the universe, I really feel like it just trails and takes a life of its own. So I always tell people, like, be very careful with what you say and how you talk about yourself, because that is going to be your reality. That is how you're going to present to people. And so, I don't know, I guess I'm just in this phase where as I'm loving this child, I'm trying to just like kind of pretend like I'm him. And I'm like, God, I need to be so much more kind to myself. There's like so many more opportunities to kind of treat, you know, we're all those like little children inside, right? Like you're still the like 7-year-old Mark that you were back then, and I'm still the like 4-year-old little girl that I was then. And so I think like really catering to that like inner child and like just being really kind to yourself is really cool. it's a new thing for me that I never really did before, and it's been like super rewarding lately. So
Yes, yet another good point about I think some people kind of forget even if they're kind to everyone else around them, they're not kind to themselves. And it's like, well, that's going to hurt you. And that's the last thing you would be doing to everyone else that you care about. So why aren't you taking time to care about yourself?
exactly. And I'm like always pumping everybody else up. And I remember one day I like looked in the mirror and I was like, all right, we're doing good here. This is good. I like this. And I was like, what is happening? So yeah, that's been it's a fun journey. Man, I will tell you though, like being a mother is wild. It's like all the goody gushy stuff, but also it's made me, I have this like new flame, like this internal flame inside of me to make music, just like passionate, aggressive, like anger, like pit, like fucking roar. It's like coming up because there's times you're just like, I don't have control and I just want control so bad. And so it's brought up a lot of things for me, but man, the resilience and the strength it is required to be a parent is next level. It's insane. So anyway, I have a lot of fun, cheeky songs. I'm actually getting in the studio on Wednesday, and I have a fire pit song that's like just a release at the mic. I just need to like get in there and just sing.
Just let it out for the world to know. Yeah,
Just let it out.
I think sometimes with people in general that depending on what your situation is in life and maybe things haven't been going your way or whatever's there's certain things that are building up within you, and that becomes a real easy outlet to kind of come out. But it's really interesting that you mentioned like from being a mother that you're also getting this flame built up in you, but it's for a very different reason.
Yeah.
And it's going to produce something really positive artistically.
Totally.
Yeah, and I mean that's a great segue about like with Time Would Come. I think I saw some posts when you were talking about that. You're going to be releasing the song that's country flavored, basically. And so like this is on. And you were, correct me if I'm wrong, you're originally from Texas, right?
I am.
Yeah. So to me, it was like, okay, this is cool. Now I have an open mind anyway, so I like all kinds of different types of music. So I'm kind of curious to see what this is going to sound like. And when I heard it. Yeah, absolutely. There's country influence all over that song, but it wasn't like if you're someone who doesn't like country, you can still like this song. That's the way. That's the way I took it. Let alone the lyrics and everything else, and then you put the video out, which was like all these images. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really like being like this is like your journal basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted to just like do a raw journal of the last like year and a half of my life, really. Yeah, and the song is super cool. I mean, my hope is to have a country like spirit. I'm just a girl from Texas, let's face it. I've lived all over the world. I live in Paris right now. I'm moving to Miami. I lived in LA. I've lived in New York. I've been a world traveler, but like you can't take Texas out of the girl. You can take her anywhere you want, but a country girl's a country girl. So but I plan to do it my own way. I don't want to be put into a category of like you need to sound and look like this. So I'm just gonna write from a place of a country girl that's kind of found her way back home, and see what comes out. But I definitely like don't want to try to sound country because that's not really what I'm going for. So.
Well, I think that's something maybe we have kind of in common with our artistic pursuits is that you're not looking to get pigeonholed or you're not trying to chase something. You're kind of like, this is what I feel authentically is coming out of me right now. In your case, it's leading you back home to your roots of Texas. but it's not like I need to be the next, super country star person. It's like, this is, if you like the music, great. And if he doesn't connect with it, that's okay too. Just like I had somebody recently talk to me about, I didn't realize you talk to people outside of the music. And I'm kind of like,
You were like, wait, what? Of course.
yeah, I've talked to, like dancers and opera people and actors of all types. And like,
I love that. That's super cool. I have a question for you. Did you, when you heard the song, what did you think? What was your?
I thought it was interesting. So me with my music background, when I was first listening to it, the first thing that jumped out was that you said the title so early, lyrically. And that's just me being a music nerd. I'm kind of like, oh, this is interesting that you didn't stick with some sort of formula of like getting to the chorus being the title. It's like, boom, no, it's right in the verse, really. And I also like, because and you know this when we talked 3-4 years ago, how much I loved your CD that you sent me, and that I was playing and playing and playing. So to me, what I liked about Time Would Come was that it wasn't a departure to me. Again, it was more that it was even rawer than your older material. And like you said, and you just spoke to that too about why it's why it's like that, the journey that you've been on recently. And I think that I was curious to see, so what happens next? And you just mentioned you're going in the studio real soon. So I'm kind of like, is it going to be just a mishmash then? Kind of like you were saying, like, this is what I feel like over here, 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 here. Or is it going to be kind of springboarding off of that single and it's going to be kind of in the same ballpark?
No, I'm all over the place. Yeah, music to me is really fun because it's like a white canvas. Like people are like, what genre are you? And they're like, oh, I'm blues, I'm pop, I'm R&B, I'm reggae. For me, it's like a white canvas and I just want to like throw paint at it. And I want to get in as many lanes as I can and try as many different things as I can. My voice is my voice. It's not going to change much that way. But yeah, like this next song, and thank you for answering that question. The reason I asked you is because I feel like in this particular song, I used to always hear people say, write what you know, like get personal, like talk about not just your pain and your suffering and your trauma and all that shit, but like literally write about, oh, I was 18 and that high school truck where that boy picked me up on the corner of Lamar and whatever, like paint the picture of your life. And I used to always think, I don't really feel like people want to hear that. But what I'm learning is that's exactly what people want. And they want to go on the journey with you of your life. And I think that's how, like, some of the greatest artists that I love, like, I look back on some of those songs and I'm like, oh, wow, they, like, pulled me into their world for a minute. And I think the whole beautiful thing about artistry and the reason I want to storytell through singing and also as an actress, it's so cool to just give people the opportunity to not think, but to feel, even for a minute. To pull themselves out of their head and into their heart just for 1 second. And I feel like I recently had this girl that messaged me and she said, the song Time Would Come, it made me sit on my bed for 3 minutes and I didn't have anxiety. I didn't worry about my job. I didn't worry about my dying cat. I didn't worry about all the things I had going on. I just got lost in the song and I was visualizing everything you were saying in it. And so anyway, to answer your question, I'm on this new journey now where I'm going to start writing a lot more about the details of my life and the stories and the experiences that have kind of led me to where I am. And, singing about the blue sweater, underneath the sofa that I never found for 14 years. It's like these little tiny things that, I used to go, oh, nobody wants to hear that, but it's exactly what people want. So I'm getting in the studio on Wednesday, and this song is, I'm doing one that is very cheeky and very sassy, and it's very like a Shania Twain, badass woman song. And then the other one I'll give you, I haven't ever told anybody yet, and I've never even shared the writing, but it's called A Hand That's Kind, and it's about, I'll just leave it at that. You'll like it, I think. So slow song and a cheeky fast song, but both very in the vein of being a Texas girl and where I'm come from and what I stand for now. And that shit is fun to me. Like the idea of writing about my life and sharing that with the world, and whether it resonates with someone or it doesn't, it's a great outlet. It's so fun. So fun.
Yeah, well, it sounds really interesting what you get, coming up from the studio sessions, and as you've been saying, and I totally agree with it, that when everyone has different stages of life and things that happen to them, and you can kind of look back, and we all know that the minutia is the minutia. None of that shit matters because it's the experiences. Those are the things that are going to stay with you, no matter how old you are. And sometimes, like tomorrow, I'll be photographing my first show that I said yes to this entire year. I've been getting offers, but I'm like, I just don't feel like it. It's just not something I want to do. And if you'd asked me that 10 years ago when I started doing like shooting concerts and stuff, I would have been jumping at every opportunity, like every single thing. But now I'm like, what do I prioritize and what do I feel like I really want to do? Even like with the live streams, I took a 2-month break from these on purpose. I said I wasn't quite feeling them anymore. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of ready to go again. And I'm missing this. And it's so nice to be able to sit back and kind of pick and choose these artistic areas that I want to kind of be involved with either again, or if I don't want to again, so I'm going to take a break from the ballet or reviewing the opera or whatever.
Yeah, so cool.
It is. And I think it also comes from your life experiences where you can kind of feel really good about who you are. You're alluding to that earlier, and I totally agree with that, because if you're insecure or if you're not loving yourself or if you have any other kind of hang-ups, then you're not going to make those decisions like that, I don't think. I think it comes from a space or a corner where you feel confident about what you are and what you want to do, and if it's okay to say no. That was something I had a hard time with when opportunities came, like, oh, I got to do this, I got to arrange everything or rearrange everything just to make sure I take care of this opportunity. And it's like, you know what, now it's okay if I don't do 2 out of those 3 opportunities, but I'm not going to miss one of them.
Well, the sexiest word in the world, right?
The sexiest word in the world.
No. It's no.
Okay.
It is. You tell people no, and then you finally give them a yes, and they're like, okay. Anyway, what is your wildest dream? Do you have a dream that you?
Wild, just in general, or
yeah,
for
like what has been your dream since you were like little, like since you were in your teens, since you were 20, 30, however old?
Oh gosh. One thing just off the top of my head that's always been there, which came much later. I used to be heavily involved in the craft beer world, and I even worked at a brewery for a little while. And so one of the things in my head was always to travel to Belgium and drink with the monks.
That's the fucking coolest dream I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it's just like, one of these days I got to get over there. And I do have friends that are in the Netherlands, and they said, Mark, you can always stay with us, and we'll go all the metal festivals in the summertime, and just kind of basically show you around, and we'll bop down to Germany and everything else. And I'm like, it sounds so far-fetched, but it's like, look how awesome this is that you have somebody locally that are friends that can take care of you as you're, being a first-timer over there. But if I go way back to when I was like in elementary school, oh gosh, it was probably being in a band touring the world, because I went to my first show when I was 9.
Wow.
So that's always been there, seeing that and getting that impression of seeing, it was Kiss, and seeing, all the lights and the craziness and the blood and the fire and all that. I'm like, man, if I could do that, that would be so fun. And as I got older, then it became, if I could do that for a living, how fun would that be? And I was in a couple bands in high school and college and stuff, but I also had this part over here, which I'm not blaming my family, but it's very much of like, okay, this is fun over here, like as a hobby, but you need to go to college and get a degree and have something that you can, always get a reliable paycheck from. And I understand why they're saying that. They want to make sure that I'm taken care of. Sure. But I think I listened to it too much. and I should have been at least 50-50ing it, if not maybe a little bit more this way.
Yeah.
Because and I can say this for anyone watching this, I mean, who wants to do something where eventually you're miserable?
That's right.
It doesn't matter how much money you're making. So if you're a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever, and you can't stand it, and you go home, and you're like, and you dread getting up the next day, and like, man, this is not doing anything for me. You just, in my point of view, you just wasted all that time doing something that you never really wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, I do this very quick exercise. It's about 20 seconds, and I'll do it with you. But this is how I check myself. I fast forward to being 90 years old, 100, let's say 100, because I'm going to live over 100. But I'm 102 years old, and I'm on my deathbed. And I look back, and my eyes are closed, and I'm just like thinking about all of the fucking amazing memories that I made for myself, and all the things that lit me up, and all the things that made me really happy. And every single time I do that, it's singing on a microphone, writing lyrics, being on set, filming, telling stories, moving people with emotion, helping people see their greatness. It's like all of these little things. And then I open my eyes and I go, okay, well, I'm just going to keep doing that.
Wow.
Yeah. And if it ever changes, that's okay too. And when I close my eyes and I'm 105 now, or whatever it is, and it's a new thing, I'm just going to do more of that. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to ever sing again or be an actress again, but it just helps me. It's a great barometer for life to be like, okay, am I on track with what I really like, what really makes my heart happy? And if I'm not, what can I be doing to get back on track? Because I owe that older woman that responsibility. Like, if I want to get there and I want to be that woman that's so happy and she's so joyful and she's so content with her life and the life that she's lived, she's really proud of, I am responsible to her to make sure that I'm moving my ass in my 40s to do what I need to do. And so, anyway, that's a really powerful, quick exercise that I do very frequently, and it really makes me happy, because when you're doing what that person says made them really happy, it's a good thing. So.
I love that. I do bits of that, and I didn't even realize it.
Cool, that's amazing.
I just had my 400th live stream like about a week and a half ago, and I started thinking about the different guests I've interviewed. I went through my YouTube channel, and some people I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that gal. She was wonderful, or whatever. And I think about how grateful I am for the things that have happened. Some of it I made happen, but also that it's, for me, I get so caught up sometimes in the grind of what I'm doing. It's like, wait a minute, don't forget that you should be really happy right now. Look at the people that you've interviewed or that you've talked to, or the show you got to shoot.
400 interviews, that's incredible.
Yeah, and you know what? Well, thank you. And that's, I was in the middle of a live stream with the 399th guests, and they're the ones that are like, Mark, that's an incredible milestone. I can't wait to see the video montage for that one. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't even think about that. I should.
That's so cool. You should be really, really proud of yourself. That's awesome. It's great.
Well, see, and like what you were just saying, that was one of those things that kind of, it reminded me about, these are things that make me happy, that bring me joy. Talking to these people, or again, being at these shows, or dressing up and going to the opera, you know, with my friend, or whatever it is. And as long as I keep those pieces there, like you were saying, the 99-year version of me or whatever is going to be like, thank you for doing those things, because this is what I'm so happy about as I'm, nearing the end of my existence here.
That's right.
I tell people all the time, especially coming out of COVID and all that craziness, that if you're not doing what you like to do, if that means going to shows, if that means going for a hike, whatever it is, what's stopping you now after most of that was taken away from us? So it's like you don't want to get into this complacency of, oh, I'll see that tour next time. Or when Kelly comes to my town, well, she'll come next year, so it's fine. Well, I'll just see her then. It's like, no, go see her now. And see her next year, and see her the year after that.
That's yes, everybody, yes. See me then and now and then. No, that's super cool. And I think it's also really cool just to remind people, like, what is the worst thing that can happen? You just end up doing what you're doing now? Like, literally walk me through it. Like, make it make sense. It's like, I tell people all the time, okay, so what's the very worst thing that can happen? You go to school for 4 years, for 6 years, you're 10 years, whatever. You become a doctor. You realize as a doctor you hate it, and now you go back to what you're doing now. What is? Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, that's the worst case scenario, is that you end up exactly where you are right now. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of like I've got a friend, and I've known her for quite a while, and she will always find kind of that type of thing. Like, well, if I take this step out of my comfort zone, then, and if it doesn't work, Mark, then it's going to be horrible for me. It's going to be a horrible experience. I'm like, yeah, but you end up back where you are right now. So it doesn't really get worse in my perspective. It just like, you tried something, it didn't work. We all try things that didn't work. We all fail forward at some point, many points in our lives. But if that's preventing you from trying things, to me, that's really sad. That you don't want to even just venture out a little bit. I'm not even talking about like way over in the corner. I'm talking about like just one little step outside of your circle. And to you, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to deal with that. And I'm a good example of that because I was such a creature of habit in like around my 30s or so. Long before I started any of this stuff. And I kind of look back and I'm like, what did I do on a Friday night? What did I do on a Saturday night? And I'm like, I didn't do much of anything. I can't even really think of things other than the occasional concert or whatever, or sporting event. But I didn't have like passions. I didn't have hobbies even. I didn't have anything other than just existing. And it's like, man, that's really sad. That's all I did.
It's so true. Oh, okay, I think you'll love this. I saw this aunt on this professor. Let me just take it all the way back. So this professor was teaching this lesson to his students, and I saw it live, and it was so cool. He took a white sheet of paper, and he put an ant on the sheet of paper. Have you seen this before?
Mm.
And he was like, I'm going to show you how the mind works, basically. And he put the ant on the sheet of paper, and the ant's crawling around. He literally takes a marker, a Sharpie, and he draws a circle on the paper around the ant. And the ant proceeds for 30 minutes to not go outside the line. So he stays inside the circle because he thinks that it's a wall. And it's just an amazing example of like how our minds can really play tricks on us. It's crazy. So you just see this little ant trailing itself in this little circle. And it's like, you just want to scream at the television and be like, dude, you can go past the marker, But this is what we do as humans. It's crazy.
Wow.
Dude, everybody that's watching, Google ant Sharpie circle on a white sheet of paper and watch it. It will blow your mind. It's wild.
That sounds really wild. And such a great illustrated point of how our minds sometimes just kind of put you into this space. And it's like, you know what? You don't have to be in that space. I think even back to, and this was very purposeful and intentful, back when I used to work with students and everything, I worked with inner city kids for a period of time. And they only know the Rainier Valley where they lived. And there's the east side, like where Microsoft is, and there's Boeing up north, and there's all these other things. So anytime we took field trips, even just to go to like eat lunch or whatever, I always took them away from that. I took them to these other places because they kept thinking, this is only stuff I see on TV. And I'm like, no, you could live here. You could work here. You could have a family here. You have every right to be here just like anybody else. So don't think that your world is just down here in the valley. where you're all shooting each other. You could be
Yeah,
somewhere
that's so
else.
cool. That's so cool. Good for you.
I can also tell you this side story with that one of the Octobers we went way up north to a cornfield because it was for Halloween and all that stuff. And man, those kids, again, they're all hard and all this kind of stuff. They did not want to get near that cornfield or the mud or anything else. I mean, they turned into like little, I don't know, like little 5-year-olds or whatever.
I love that.
We found, I remember there was like a little dead shrew or a mouse, and they would not get near that entrance. I mean, they're walking way around it, and I'm like, you guys are a trip.
You're not so hard, huh?
Yeah, you want me to tell your homies back in South Seattle what you really like? Come on, mistress, don't say anything, don't say anything. So, but it was good though, and that was kind of the purpose. Like, here, this is another world for you that, you know, you've told yourself that I don't want to get near this, or this is too scary for me, or I don't want to get my kicks dirty, or whatever. And it's like, you know, where's that corn come from that you eat? Where does this other stuff come from? It's not just in the grocery store. It actually has, you know, a place where it's grown.
That's really cool that they get that experience. It's important to get out of to travel the world and like to see things. It doesn't even matter if you leave your state or your country, but just to like expand your horizons, I think is so important.
Yeah, and that's something I'm still working on, because like when I was photographing models back in like 2005, 2006, I remember some of them that were not from here, from this area, and they talked to me about, so Mark, where are some great places to go? And I'm like, I've lived here all my life and I don't really know. This is embarrassing.
Yeah, but I mean, so many people are like that. It's you know, we're creatures of habit, right? We're mammals. This is like the way it was designed to be, I guess, but it's not the way it's supposed to be.
Right, right. And I know what pushed me out of my comfort zone, like doing shoots, was looking for new locations. I'm like, well, I've never been to Golden Gardens and Ballard, or I've never been up north. That might be a really great place to shoot. And then again, I'd had these conversations with the model and the team. They're like, so how many times have you shot here? So I've never been here. This is kind of like a little exercise for me too. So Mark, you know, is trying to grow too.
Love it.
So Kelly, you mentioned that you're going in the studio on Wednesday. You've got a couple of tracks that you've already talked about. That one's kind of like a Shania Twain, you know, sassy, kind of, you know, got that kind of attitude to it. And you've got a ballad that you're working on as well. I saw recently that you're also talking about you're getting back into the acting world.
Yeah.
Are you looking for things, just anything, or kind of where are you with that?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I just signed with actually an amazing agent in Austin, Texas, where I'm from. And it's actually where I did a lot of the original work that I did. So I'm excited about that. There's a lot of productions coming to the Austin area in the fall to film. I think my short-term dream is to be a series regular on a TV show and have like a standard character that I really love playing. It's like my short-term dream. And yeah, I'm open. I mean, I just love working. I'm just ready to work again and like get back on set. There's nothing that makes me happier. It's like having 2 children. I think we've talked about this before, but it's like the microphone and singing and recording and writing music is like one baby. And then television and film acting and storytelling is another baby. And it's like, I love them both so much and I can't pick one, but sometimes one is a little better than the other.
Well, and we may have talked about this back when we did the other interviews, but do you have any interest in theater work, like doing plays?
Yeah, I'm open to that. There's a lot of plays that like, so I was in like Godspell and Guys and Dolls in high school and did all of that. I don't know. I'm open, but I have to like emotionally connect with the story and the character and yeah, I'm open. I'm not opposed to it. I just always felt like first of all, I was in like the ensemble for the very beginning. I wasn't even a character in anything, but sometimes it was a little too animated and cheesy for me, like live on stage. But I definitely love theater. but like musicals, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm
I
open.
just
You know what? I'm gonna put it out into the universe. I'm open to receive whatever is coming for me and whatever is mine. So whatever's next.
there we go. Yeah, it just kind of made sense with me that with you being on stage on the music side of things, that you might be on stage, as the actress side of things,
Yes.
or some, potentially maybe it'll be both. I mean,
That would be the dream. I actually wanted to do a one-woman show when I was in New York and just like freaking go for it and do a little bit of everything. And I started to write a script for that, but don't know whatever happened to that. I should revisit that. Yeah, it would be cool.
yeah, especially what you've been discussing here today about the type of person you are now and the different things in your life that are creating the dreams that you either had way back when or becoming fruition now, or that would be. And you said to yourself that you're writing lyrically things like those little details that you thought, oh, people don't want to hear about that. No, they actually do want to hear about that. And in a one-woman play or performance, all of that stuff could be potentially in there. Holy moly!
Sometimes it's I guess I'll actually probably leave you on this note because my baby's starting to cry again and wake up. But I think I finally have come to the understanding that what I think is obvious is not. So, for example, well, yeah, of course I would do that and write that and do a one-woman show about that. And it's like, I'm trying to switch that in my mind of, no, it's not obvious at all because that's what people want. Does that make sense? Like, something that is so obvious to you is like groundbreaking and beautiful and a moment for someone else. And so I feel like sometimes we limit ourselves when it's like, yeah, but that's like obvious. Like, I'm not going to do that because that's too on the nose, or that's too obvious, or that's just too obvious, But it's like, no, that's like, that is the thing that you probably should be doing, is the obvious choice.
That is such an interesting point of view, because I think everyone kind of gets caught up in that thing, especially if you're a creative type.
Yes.
That you're like, oh, this is too obvious. I don't want to do that. And, people are going to kind of cringe when they watch it or listen to it or something and be like, no, this is actually what they've been wanting. And maybe they didn't know that this was so on the nose. This is only on the nose to me.
It's so true. And when you say something obvious, it's like, people are like, wow. And I'm like, that is the most obvious shit I've ever said, but it's exactly what works with people. So anyway, I've been trying to change my mind about the obvious word.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And yeah, we'll definitely end things on that point. And Kelly, it was so great talking to you, seeing you again, listening to your new music, everything that's going on. You got a lot of things in the hopper.
Yeah, there's a lot coming up. Oh, I actually have like a psychedelic, like weird rap song that I'm gonna release soon, which is like kind of crazy. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so I'll keep you posted on when that drops. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun springboard the next like half a year. I've got a lot of different music, but trying to go back into the country lane, recording, moving forward. But yeah, it'll be fun.
Okay, well, anytime that you feel it's a good time to reconnect, to promote those things, you know how to find me, and I'm not going anywhere. So
Thank you. It's always a pleasure talking with you. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. 400 plus streams. Good for you.
thank you so much, Kelly. And yeah, congratulations on your family and your career. And hopefully I see you sooner than later.
I would love it. I would love it. Take care.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.